they had these Miami Today newspapers in the hotel lobby. And I took one because I'm still moving, and I'm gonna use this to help me package some things for my move. Somebody that I was flying with, like 2 weeks ago, I mentioned that I was moving, and then a passenger handed them a newspaper to throw away, and they saved it for me. They said, "I thought you could probably use this for your move as packing material." And I was just so struck by how thoughtful that was. Also, I had not even thought to do that. So, yesterday, I believe it was yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I don't remember, I was packing a little bit, and I ran out of that newspaper. I'm gonna open this soda. I didn't want it to be too loud. I don't know if you know this, but you literally cannot pour a Diet Coke or a Coke Zero in one go when you're on an airplane. The cabin pressure affects Diet Coke and Coke Zero way more than any of the other sodas. And it's like trying to pour champagne. You have to do it in multiples. Even if you like pour it down the side or whatever. But on the ground, you can totally do that. So anyway, like the day before yesterday, it was something like 95 degrees in Minnesota, which means that it was about 105 degrees inside my apartment. And I was just like, honestly fed up, because my cats, like, I don't want them to get like literal heat strokes, so. And I was sweating, but I gathered their automatic feeders, their food, their water dispenser, their treats, their litter box, and them, and I drove them to my new apartment, because that apartment has air conditioning. Just because I was worried about their safety, and that's not the order that I wanted to do that in. Ideally, if this weren't an emergency move that I was having to make, I would move them last, so that I could have their space all set up. But that couldn't have happened, so I took them to my new apartment, and they are getting familiarized with it. I mean, there's literally nothing in that apartment aside from them and their things, so I think they're confused. I think they think just like, I don't know, at the vet or something, in the vet's waiting room, expecting to come home soon. But I have a bunch of new things that I got for them to try to make the space comfortable. I got them a new cat tree and some climbing toys and things that were mailed to me after Amazon Prime Day that I have not opened yet. But I also got a Feel-Away, like plug-in atomizer. It's supposed to help cats with anxiety. My vet recommended it to me. She has it in her office. So, because Mila is a fearless girl, she's just like acting like nothing happened, and she's just comfortable doing her thing in the new apartment, but the other two are like hiding all the time. So I want to make them feel better. I got my bedroom packed up, and there's really not a whole lot of stuff that I own, so finishing packing shouldn't take that long. I work today, and my trip finishes tomorrow, and then I work 2 more days consecutively, and then I'll have like 3 or 4 days off, so I hope to get it done. But I did spend the last 2 nights in the new apartment, and the first night I slept on the floor because I hadn't, and I still haven't moved any of my things to the new place. So I slept on the floor with like one blanket underneath me, and I kind of bunched up a corner of it as a pillow. Didn't really work that well. And then last night, after I was spending some time at home packing, I also test drove a car yesterday. I liked it, and then I had it taken to a mechanic today so they could look at it and tell me if I should or shouldn't buy it. And yeah, they found a bunch of problems with it. They told me that if it were them, they wouldn't buy this car, so I'm not gonna buy that car. So the search for a car still continues, but last night when I returned to the new apartment, I brought with me my hammock with a frame, because I have like a camping hammock that you would tie to trees, and then I have this other hammock that has like a metal frame and you can just set it up anywhere. So I brought that. It comes in a bag that you can carry on your back, and I brought that with me to the new place with a pillow, and I set that up in my bedroom. So last night I slept in the hammock, and I guess it was fine. I'm only a little sore. The day after I slept on the floor, I was very sore. But the good news, the exciting news is, now that I've spent like a couple of consecutive hours in the new apartment, which I had not yet done, it's quiet. It's quiet there. It's like, I don't know, thick walls. I don't hear my neighbors. It's not in the city. There's like nothing around. I actually hesitate to say, but I think I kind of like St. Paul. I definitely like it more than I like Minneapolis, but it feels, where I'm living now in St. Paul, feels very lays on the horn the entire time that it rolls through, which is like 4-5 minutes. It's a long train, and it doesn't just give like a toot toot, it lays on the horn the entire time that it rolls through. So that was my only concern about this place is, is there gonna be a really noisy train coming through, and is it gonna come through on a schedule? Because if I do want to attempt to record videos in my new apartment, it would be helpful for me to be able to try to plan around that. And I had asked the neighbors, does the train come through often? And they said, yeah, it comes through at least a couple times, probably every day, but it comes through on a schedule. And I thought, okay, as long as I can observe and learn the schedule, then it really won't be a huge issue. I never thought to ask if the train blared its horn on its way through town, because I just assumed that it would. I thought it would be like the train that I hear in Minneapolis, only at odd hours of the night. So when I was leaving at 3:50 this morning and I heard the sound of a train as I walked to my car, I thought, maybe that's not the train, because I haven't heard the horn. And then I got into my car, and on my way to work, I had to stop at the railroad crossing because the train was still coming through, and I waited for like 4 minutes because the train was like 10 acres long, but no horn. And I don't know if it only comes through without honking its horn at like 3 and 4 in the morning due to some kind of noise abatement, or if where I live is zoned differently than the areas of Minneapolis where that train comes through. Like maybe because the area that I moved to is less densely populated, it's not a requirement for them to blow the horn. I don't know, but I feel very hopeful now, because the only thing that I was a little bit concerned about in terms of how quiet the new place would be was that train and its horn. But today I saw the train and there was no horn. And now that I've spent 2 nights and parts of 2 afternoons in the new place and have experienced quiet, I'm very excited. I think, at least in this instance, I got exactly what I hoped for. I think we are going to be able to make videos at home again, and I say again as though I ever really had a decent filming setup at home. I never did. I started this channel when I was living in downtown San Diego, and it was always loud. I tried to record my first ever videos from the inside of my closet, and even then, every single recording session I would just have noise try again another night because there just seemed to be too much going on in the city. So then when I became a flight attendant, I started utilizing hotel rooms. And of course that means that I can only make a video when I'm on a layover. And now that I've been a flight attendant for 3 years, I prefer not to have layovers at all. I just want to work out and back turns and make my money and not have to have a layover, because you don't make as much money doing that. I'll travel on my own time. Just give me the schedule that's most efficient for cash. And I can pretty much have my entire month look like that now. I only have like 2 or 3 layovers a month consistently. Like last week I worked like 4 or 5 days, and they were turns. And I have this layover tonight, and then for the next 2 days I'm working turns, and then when I finish my days off, I'm going back for more turns. So the thing about my job that afforded me a space to make videos, is now no longer a part of my job that I try to take much advantage of anymore. Because the more that I'm in my job, the more I know what I like and what I look for, and I can hold that in my schedule now. So I do a lot less time in hotels. Great for me, great for my career, great for my wallet, but not so great for this channel. So I am thrilled and excited about finally having an appropriate home space for making my videos. And if you ever did watch any of my old content, I do actually have a Blue Yeti microphone. So, I know that lo-fi videos have kind of become my thing, just out of necessity. It's easy to travel with this thing. But we might be reincorporating a little bit more high quality audio in the near future. So hopefully you can be feeling as excited about that as I am. As hopeful as I am about that. And 2 questions. If you're still listening, if you're still awake, please leave me a comment to let me know, specifically in the new space, being that it is my home and that I do own a nicer microphone. Are there different kinds of videos that you might want to see on the channel? And question B or 2, I forget. Would you be interested in some, like, maybe not so ASMR, just like hang out live streams? I've never done a live stream. That feature is unlocked on my channel. I did attempt to do it once in New York, which was really stupid because I wasn't on a high enough floor of the hotel that night. and so I think I tried to go live for like 1 or 2 minutes, and there was just so much noise, and I was like, oh, I give up. It was like the old days of trying to record in my closet. So I've never posted a live stream, but you know, if I am at home, maybe we could have like chatty hangout live streams that are like focused around cooking or baking or plant care. And I don't know. I do want a wireless lapel mic, because if I had a microphone that I could walk around with cordless, then that would open the door for a lot more ASMR content of like cooking and stuff. But if I have a cable, then maybe it would be best to just do like a chatty, not ASMR, like hangout session, and we could get some like audience interaction. I could actually be able to chat with you guys, because I'm constantly making the mistake of leaving these questions at the end of my videos, and I would like to say that it's because you fall asleep that I don't always get responses, but realistically, I see my click-through length and my average view duration, and I know that most people just don't watch my videos to the end. But if I could interface with you and chat with you live in a live format, and maybe actually get the benefit of some of your feedback, that would change. I could make videos that you would be more interested in continuing to watch from start to finish, or at least sticking around long enough that you fall asleep to my video and not somebody else's, not to sound jealous, but I don't know. If you stuck around long enough to hear those questions, let me know. I am going to go to sleep now because I am very excited to be here with access to a bed, because a night on the floor followed by a night spent in a hammock didn't really give me good enough sleep. That and my 2:45 a.m. alarm this morning to get to work. I'm tired. I'm sore and I'm tired. I tried to take a nap in between my first 2 flights, and it just didn't work. So I'm very ready to go to sleep now. And I hope that you are too. I hope that you are resting. I hope that you are doing so well. And I hope that I will see you again soon, okay?